Brian Fargo is one of the most prolific game developers of all time. In 1983, he founded Interplay Productions, creating games like Bard's Tale, Wasteland, and Fallout. Fallout, first released in 1997, is a series of post-apocalyptic role-playing games in which nuclear bombs have brought the world to the brink of destruction. After two back-to-back games and a pair of non-canon spin-off titles, Fallout seemingly took a break until Bethesda released Fallout 3 in 2008. That is, unless you look at the titles that never released. Perhaps best known as Black Isle Studios' Fallout 3 titled Van Buren, cancelled in December 2003. But a lesser-known title, Fallout Extreme, was worked on in 2000. And this document, from the Brian Fargo papers in the Brian Sutton Smith Library and Archives of Play at the Museum of Play, hints at a very, very different Fallout game that was once in development. Since no footage exists of Fallout Extreme, I'll be using gameplay from other Fallout games to fill in for it. Fallout Extreme would shift the isometric perspective of the previous titles to a fully rendered 3D, first-person environment, giving players command of a 4-man squad of soldiers, each with special skills. It is noted that the game wasn't seen as a traditional first-person shooter, though, instead focusing on the combination of action, tactics, and strategy, putting an emphasis on planning rather than just having the best weapons. Almost a century had passed since the dropping of the bombs. Radiation had left the world a wasteland, with the world decaying and life barely clinging on. The Brotherhood of Steel, made up of non-mutant humans, seized control seemingly overnight by ruthlessly taking over by force. The first half of Fallout Extreme would have focused on the revolutionaries taking back control from the Brotherhood in tactical battles in specific territories. The mission structure was impacted by actions taken in previous missions. Enter the map from a different direction, and the scenario plays out far differently. The document gives the example of blowing up a bridge as one possible mechanic that would drastically alter the game, as it would block the enemy from receiving supplies or reinforcements. Players would have to manage the battles from the territory map, giving an overview of the status of various territories. Following the fall of the Brotherhood of Steel, the player must now turn their attention to the sleeping enemy in the Far East, who threatens another nuclear strike. The missile in their control represents the final blow to North America, but if the player can take control of the missile, their power would be lost, and civilization could rebuild. While the title wasn't an open world game like Bethesda's later titles, the maps would be more than just an area for battles. Neutral, non-playable characters would help flesh out the game's world. Fallout Extreme was planned for release on Microsoft's then upcoming Xbox console. With the console still in development, and the game far from being done, features were still up in the air, but the team had hoped to include internet multiplayer, which had yet to be named Xbox Live. In addition to the single-player game, players would have been able to play the campaign as a team of 4 players. A 16-player assault mode would have had one team of attackers triggering several switches in the defending team's base. And for those who no longer felt like playing on a team, a deathmatch mode would have been available for up to 16 players as well. But what would the game have played like? Luckily, the document gives a lengthy sample scene. The squad sniper, Deadeye, scans an enemy compound, only seeing a sentry. Beast with heat-sensing vision sees no sign of life at the water tower. Boomer and Scout both give the all clear, so all Boomer has to do is set up the demos at the munitions dump and get out of there. Easy, right? Or perhaps take the ammo for the team. But there's a large barracks not far away. Maybe empty, but maybe not. Deadeye gets into position, with Scout setting up a diversion to hopefully set up a shot. Boomer begins to set up the explosives, and Beast waits for a fight, but hopefully it won't come to that. The diversion is set into action, Deadeye aims and fires. With the sentry gone, the squad makes final preparation. Just when the explosives are about to go off, a Brotherhood of Steel patrol returns, spotting Deadeye. And those barracks? Not empty after all. Boomer pulls the trigger on the explosives and the squad readies for a fight. And that's it. Unfortunately, the 5-page document doesn't go into extreme detail, but we do get a small taste of what the game could have been. If you're interested in other cancelled Interplay titles, go check out the stream of The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, which was based on the book of the same name. And until next time, thanks for watching.